Tonight's headlines: Duterte considering proposed 4-day work week. Rody still without a favored presidential bet. All areas must be under alert level 1 for status downgrade. DFA to protest incursions in Philippine Rise. DoTr opposes fare hike. Irving scores 60 in Nets win. And DOE chief sees big-time oil price rollback. Good evening. Today is Wednesday, March 16, 2022. I'm Miguel Paltagonan and this is Tribune News on Q. Here are the stories for this evening. President Rodrigo Duterte is considering the proposals for a 4-day workweek, wage subsidies, and other suggestions in light of the fuel price hikes. Acting presidential spokesperson Martin Andanar said these proposals are under consideration in case the price of fuel continues to increase. Asked about the proposal on wage subsidy, Andanar said it will be thoroughly studied to balance the different recommendations from various departments. To recall, National Economic and Development Authority Head Secretary Carl Kendrick Chua suggested that the government impose a 4-day workweek to conserve energy and alleviate the public's expenses amid the oil price hikes. Malacanang on Wednesday disclosed that President Rodrigo Duterte remains without a presidential candidate to support in the 2022 national elections. Palace acting spokesperson Martin Andanar said that the president remains to support no one in the presidential race unless there is a compelling reason. Andanar was asked for the palace reaction after Eastern Samar Governor Ben Everdon, PDP Laban Vice President for Visayas, pushed for the presidential candidacy Vice President Leni Robredo, the standard bearer of the opposition. Everdon cited Duterte's remarks in the interview that he preferred that a lawyer be elected in the 2022 elections. Only Robredo and Jose Montemayor Jr. are lawyers among the presidential candidates. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere on Wednesday said that all areas in the country should be under alert level 1 before any downgrading to lower status of COVID-19 risk classification could be imposed. Vergere clarified that alert level 0 is not a formal or official term yet for the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases. She noted that the status lower than alert level 1 will be declared for the entire country and not per area. With all areas under alert level 1, Vergere said discussion on further easing of restrictions and refocusing of resources will start. She added that authorities will review if there is still a need for dedicated beds for COVID-19 cases in hospitals, quarantine facilities in local government units, and surveillance on testing. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
We shall lie, soar, fight, and win!
Fun and inspiring na kwentuhan? Sagot na yan ang programang Spotlight ng Daily Tribune. Makipagkwentuhan at kilalanin ng iba't ibang personalidad na kilala sa kani-kanilang larangan. Manood at makinig sa mga inspiring stories na kanilang ibabahagi kasama si Nina Ventura at Jojo Silvestre. Be ready na mamangha at matuwa every Thursday alas 2 ng hapon dito lang sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube.
In other news, Malacanang assured on Wednesday the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, will take necessary action in response to the continuing incursion in Philippine Rise. Acting presidential spokesperson Martin Andanar said the DFA will file a diplomatic protest against the incursions. On Monday, the DFA said it has summoned China's top diplomat to Manila to protest the presence of Chinese Navy in the Sulu Sea early this year. The DFA, through Acting Undersecretary Maria Teresa Lazaro, lodged Manila's diplomatic protest saying the passage of China's Navy ship in the Philippine waters is illegal and violated the country's sovereign rights. The Department of Transportation has expressed its disapproval of the petitions to increase the fare in public transports, believing the fare hike would escalate the inflation rate in the Philippines. Transport Secretary Arthur Tugade acknowledged the statement of the Socio-Economic Planning Secretary and National Economic and Development Authority Chief Carl Kendrick Chua that increasing the minimum jeepney fare and minimum wage would mean an increase in the country's inflation rate to 5.1%. Several groups of public utility vehicle drivers and operators have filed a petition for fare increase in light of the series of fuel price hikes due to the ongoing Ukraine-Russia conflict. To help alleviate their plight, the government started this week the distribution of the 6,500 peso fuel subsidies to over 377,000 qualified PUP drivers and operators. A total of 2.5 billion pesos was allocated to the fuel subsidy program of the DoTr, which was released last week. In sports, Kyrie Irving scored a career-high 60 points in a dazzling display as the Brooklyn Nets stretched their NBA winning streak with 150-108 thrashing of the Orlando Magic on Tuesday. Net star Irving, who had bagged 50 points last week in a victory over Charlotte, delivered another performance for the ages against an outclassed Magic at Orlando's Amway Center. Irving's tour de force surpassed his previous career best of 57 points set in 2015 while playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers in a victory over the San Antonio Spurs. The 29-year-old Australian-born seven-time All-Star made 20 out of 31 points from the field, making 8 of 12 attempts from outside the ARC. And in business, Department of Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi said a big-time oil price rollback may be expected next week if the improving situation in the global market continues. Cusi said a decrease of 5 pesos per liter for gasoline and 12 pesos per liter for diesel is possible during next week's price adjustment. He based his outlook on the average price of the Dubai crude in the past 2 days, which stood at $104.79 per barrel, lower than last week's average of $122.61 per barrel. The DOE chief attributed the declining oil prices in the global market to coronavirus disease 2019 related lockdown in China that slows down oil demand, as well as negotiation for a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. He added global oil prices could further go down if sanctions on Venezuela, Iran, and Syria are lifted, as these countries can add more than 1 million barrels of oil in a day. That wraps up the stories tonight. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Araneta City, the Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hino Motors, Security Bank, Empire East Lands Holdings Incorporated, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of the Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Miguel Patagonan, and you're watching Tribune News on Kyiv. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good night, and God bless us all.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Oh, vaccination, isolation. Gotta keep up with my nutrition. Gotta maintain my body condition. Then I can take my vaccination. What do I choose? What do I take? As long as it is not a fake. AstraZeneca, Moderna, BioNTech, even Sinovac, okay na. Babakuna ka ba? 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 Vaccination for the nation, no more isolation. With vaccination, babakuna ka ba? 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 Paturok, paturok, paturok.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Magandang araw mga katribo! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelevelo, Atty. Lia Badillo Crisostomo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chirk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas ng mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Simulan natin ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments ng aming programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its vibrant community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tercito are available on our community Viber.